Greetings, everybody. I just had another random inspiration for making a video. And that is, like it says in the title, how do you define the best car you've ever owned? I wonder if this is blurry. I don't know if the focus is on. Hopefully that's not blurry. Anyway, I guess for different people, it means different things. Now, with me being a car guy, I've owned like 120 cars in my life, and that number is going to continue going up because I'm always wanting to experience a different car. But, out of that list of 120 cars that I've owned throughout the years, 5 have emerged as my favorites. And I got to thinking about that word best. So I think, I want to kind of make this video to give my thoughts on the matter. And then also for those of you interested, if you want to drop a comment down here, tell me what your favorite car, your best car you've ever owned is. It may or may not be your favorite car. And what that means to you. So I think for most people, best car is gonna just be most reliable car. Car that just basically starts when you turn the key or push the button, stops when you push the brakes, gets you wherever you're going, and never breaks. I think for a lot of people that is the one and only criteria that they need to determine best car they've ever owned. Real quick here, I'm going to just do a wet 0 to 60 video. There we go. Anyway, so there's a lot of other factors that can come into a car being the best car. One would be acceleration. Maybe people like a fast car. Now, I've had cars with acceleration all over the board. One of my top 5 favorite cars had 40 horsepower. It was an old Volkswagen Beetle, and I think the only thing I could outrun was like a bus or a big rig truck. So, for some people, power is a big deal. For others like me, it's not. I do enjoy a powerful car. What I consider fast, other people would consider painfully slow. Like, I actually consider this car fast. And I clocked 0 to 60, 7.7 seconds, give or take, 7.79. I made a video about that. Another big thing for me is just going to be the overall performance. That can include braking, handling, steering feel, just all things that add up. Seat comfort is a big one for me. And then also, less definable features, like how does the car make you feel to drive? Does it feel relaxing? Does it feel exciting? Does it feel just good? Does it take you to a place of zen when you drive it? I think it's very possible that someone could have something they would call the best car they've ever owned and not necessarily have it be entirely reliable. There may be the other features that they like, or the other things the car does for them emotionally or whatever, may outweigh the fact that a particular car is not reliable. I think that applies a lot more in the case of an enthusiast. Like one example is my 1965 Volkswagen Beetle that I drove for, I think, 5 years when I was in college. That thing always had something wrong with it. When I found it was sitting for many, many, many years, was not running. A friend of mine, I didn't know the first thing about working on cars, but a friend of mine in college taught me everything I know, and to this day I've enjoyed working on cars. But we did what a lot of YouTubers now are doing, to videos, to make videos where they'll rescue a car that's been sitting for years and bring it back to life and then drive it. That's exactly what I did in college with the help of my friend. I mean, I learned about brakes and gasoline that turns to tar and just stuff like that, and that car was rusty as well. But in terms of just the sheer enjoyment I got out of that car and all the road trips I took and all the places it took me, you know, in that sense, it was such a memorable experience. I could consider that the best car I've ever owned. Now, I've owned plenty of very reliable cars that have had zero issues, that wouldn't even be in the same planet as best car I've ever owned. I can think of quite a few of those. Perfectly reliable cars. They get the job done, whatever, would probably run for years and years and years without any problems, but they just didn't do it for me. I mean, there's one thing or another that I might not like. Like, one that actually just pops into my mind now, I have some videos about this car, is my Elantra N. It was a fantastic driving car, 100% reliable, but there were just a couple things I didn't like about it, you know, and they're probably some of the same things that other people absolutely love. Like, for example, even in quiet mode on that car, the exhaust sometimes would backfire and it would sound like a gunshot. And this would happen when I was in like quiet neighborhoods driving through. I didn't care for that. You know, I knew a lot of people would just love it. Even they would leave it on loud mode all the time. And that's fine, to each their own. But I had a brand new 2009 Subaru WRX for a brief bit. I loved it on the test drive. It was super fast and whatever, but I got rid of it after a week because I just didn't like it. You know, so a lot of the metrics that some people use to define best car really just don't apply. Now, the car I'm driving right now, this has been my favorite car in years. It's actually never left me stranded. It's always gotten me where I'm going to go. It handles great. It's super comfortable. But it has needed some work on it. But, you know, then again, it is 11 years old. And 168,000 miles. Don't know if you can see that or not. So that's to be expected. But, you know, there's other things that play in, like how good is the stereo if you're into that sort of thing, or, you know, fuel economy. How great is your fuel economy? And I apologize, I'm not really seeing the screen here, but it seems like this video may be blurry. But so apologies for that. I don't know what's going on with the focus. It may be fine. Who knows? But yeah, so I'm just kind of throwing this out there. I'd like to know, you know, if you guys have a comment about what the best car you've ever owned is, and more importantly, why you consider it the best car you've ever owned. And it's funny, you know, as I'm talking about that, I don't know if I can come up with just one. I've had several cars that have just been great cars for various reasons with varying degrees of reliability. I think I would weigh for myself the driving experience probably above everything. Now, there does have to be some degree of reliability. Like, I have to feel like I got a good shot at getting where I'm going when I get behind the wheel of the car, and that, you know, generally speaking, it's going to work. If little things pop up here and there, that's fine. You know, on my 65 Beetle, I had some like major things happen. Like one time I lost brakes, and on those old Beetles that just had a single master cylinder. So if you lose a brake line, or in my case, I think if I remember right, there was a little pin that popped out where the brake pedal mounts, and that actually caused me to completely lose brakes, and my emergency brake left a little bit to be desired. It did slow the car down a little bit though. But you know, that never really stopped my love for the car, because I just loved how the car made me feel when I was driving it. And you know, that's the case of the car I'm driving now. I love how it feels when I'm driving it, and in particular in this car, I love the diesel engine. I love the way it sounds. I love the fuel economy this thing gets for what it is. I love the capability of the car with the 4MATIC all-wheel drive system, and you know, just a lot of things. And it seems like this car is going to last a long time. I think, you know, that's another aspect. You know, even if it's not entirely reliable, maybe it's a car that just lasts a long time. Like, the fundamentals are good. Engine, transmission, drive line, whatever, generally last a long time and perform well. I think this car is going to be like that. You know, even though it had some issues around the emissions system that were, by the way, covered by the AEM warranty, I think the fundamentals of this car are going to last a long time, and it's just with regular maintenance. So yeah, share your thoughts with me about the best car you've ever owned and why. Thanks for watching. Hopefully at least a few of you enjoyed this video. I'm always fascinated when people like my videos. I'm definitely not for everybody, and I know that, and I own it. Anyway, have a great day.